Snowmobile manufacturers steal stuff from each other all the time. For example, Arctic Cat invented the double wishbone front suspension. I believe Yamaha invented the TSS suspension. What does that sled have? What color's the hood? They steal stuff back and forth. Like, for example, I don't know what ADSA stands for, but I know on these older sleds where it says DSA in the UP Michigan, they say that means the same as, and the same as Polaris Indy, because Polaris Indy was the first one to have that trailing arm style suspension, at least on a snowmobile. We're not talking cars. And then Ski-Doo has had some other little minor things that are better than the other guys. The way you can open and close the vents so easily on the trail with no tools. And even things like this where you can adjust, I know this is old tech now, but you can adjust the foot holder thing. Something that I find funny with Ski-Doo though is so many of these older sleds, this is how they come from the factory. The way the choke, this one was turned, the way the choke is set up from the factory. Now obviously if you have a race style sled with a primer, you don't have a choke, but the direction that the choke lever is with the little notch on top, I find that funny coming from a country like Canada, where if you go on YouTube and look at the videos, the history of Canada, how English and French and Scottish people started immigrating to Canada, the women wrote letters back home saying what a miserable place it was because of the winter weather. So you'd think a country that's immersed in wintertime activities, such as I had some friends from Winnipeg, and they said the common name around there is they call it winter peg. You would think the Canadians in Winterpeg and thereabout would know that snow comes from the top down, and this little notch here likes to fill up with ice, and then you can't use your choke. So something I find funny is that from winter country, Canada, you have to automatically turn your choke upside down. So, because if you look at the bottom, it doesn't build up in there and get stuck. That's how Polaris does it. I'm not sure about this Yamaha. Let's find out. The slightly newer rev style, they're mounted sideways so it doesn't build up with crap. Let's see where the Yamaha is, just as an example. Oh yeah, this has got to be like a 90 something. They have it in the right direction so it doesn't get snow in there. So I just thought that was a funny little detail from the winter country.